Hello, everyone, and welcome to Horse Center this beautiful Monday. We are so excited to be back. And I'm Wild Jamie. With me, of course, is Swiss Army Sean, the absolute best. And our special guest tonight.
I don't think he can hear us.
Oh, can you hear us, Brandon? You can't hear us?
It's
Uh-oh.
happened again. I know
It
that.
happened
Yep.
again!
I know that look. The guest gets that look where I don't know what it is with StreamYard.
All right, I'm texting him right now. Okay, sorry about that, everyone.
It's funny because everyone has the same look. They start muting and unmuting and like, oh no.
Luckily, he's young though. He'll be right back with no problems. Like, I sent him the link and he was in and like, there we go. Okay, you're here. I just told Sean, I was like, he's young. He'll be right back. It's no problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome back to Horse Center, everyone. It's already been an eventful Monday. My internet crashed 10 minutes ago. Brandon can't hear us, but now we're back. We're rolling and we're ready here. Our special guest tonight, as I was starting to say, is someone we are absolutely thrilled to have on the show because we've been trying to get someone who works the gate crew on the show for months now. They're very shy. They don't like to take a lot of credit or be in the spotlight, but we finally found one. And not only did we find a gate crew member, but we found like the best of the best. His reputation precedes him. When I ask jockeys, like, what can you tell me about Brandon? He's coming on the show. They're like, he's amazing. He is so good at what he does. He is so just courageous and strong and great with the horses. So what better choice could we have? Brandon Poole, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you guys for having me.
No, thank you so much for being here. We know you're very busy and Presque Isle's getting ready to start. So we appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here with us. And since this is your first time on the show, we just want to do a little bit of background. So what about your childhood growing up? Have you just always kind of been exposed to the racing industry?
Yeah, for me, actually, my whole family of my dad's side's in the horse racing. So I have four uncles. They all train. My dad trained for a long time, but he currently doesn't work the horses no more. All my cousins. So we grew up as a young age at the track, spent a lot of time at the barn.
Yes, with the name Poole, that really kind of gives a big hint there. Anyone who is remotely familiar with Midwest racing has seen the name Poole come up over and over. So you're just continuing that family tradition. Good for you. So you've done a lot of things at the track. I mean, we mentioned working the gate crew, but what all jobs have you had working with racehorses?
Currently I work for Kevin Rice in the morning times, like groom horses for him here. But yeah, that's how I started when I first started out of high school. I just went to the track, walked horses, groomed. I didn't actually maybe a 19, I think I started on the gate at Beulah. So I've kind of been doing that, but every year that I work the gate, I also work a job in the morning too. So, but it's been last 4 or 5 years, it's been Kevin Rice. So really enjoy him.
Awesome. Very cool. I actually did not realize that you started the gate crew at Beulah Park. That's my home track.
Me too. I'm from Grove City.
Wonderful. I love that. And yes, we got a lot of pools around Grove City. I grew up surrounded. Jackie Poole used to actually come and keep horses at my parents' farm every summer. We loved him. He was the best renter. Like, we were crossing our fingers every year. Like, I hope he comes back. So that's great. Okay. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
He's been scratching at me this whole time. I figured he was getting ready to jump up.
Yeah. We've got kids. We get it. They pop in and out all the time.
Right.
So what made you originally want to start working the gate crew? I mean, it's such a dangerous job. To me, it's terrifying. Like, that is the number one job that I would fear working on the racetrack. I just think the gates are so scary. Like, put me on top of a horse and I just fly off the side any day of the week versus being trapped inside of a steel cage where I can't go anywhere. What made you think this is it for me?
I actually never intended on doing it. I was working in Cleveland and my dad was at Presque Isle working the gate and they were short-handed. So he just called me one day and asked me if I'd be interested in. I wanted to change the scenery. I was ready to leave there. So never was at Presque Isle before. But yeah, ever since I started, I haven't stopped, but I love it.
Awesome. Very cool. So what is your favorite part about your job working in the gate crew?
Um, for me, I'm kind of like a not like a leader, so it's nice to be around a bunch of guys. But like I love the horses, so and I'm a adrenaline junkie, so it's kind of a good 30, 45 seconds. You know,
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
Okay, now what is the hardest thing about working the gate crew? Like I said, it just looks so scary to me. I don't know.
Yeah, they are still horses, so they are unpredictable. You will get hurt. It's just a matter of time. Luckily for me, I have never been too injured. So, but it does get scary. For people to tell you that they're not scared of it is, a lie. It is scary at some points, but for the most part, it is actually not that bad. And a lot of the horses are a lot nicer about it than you would imagine.
Okay, very cool. And got some comments coming in here. Ashley Phillips, which we absolutely adore her. We got to get her on the show too. She's great. We love
Ashley.
ID. We do love having you, Brandon. Like I said, your reputation precedes you. Everyone that I talk to about you is just like, oh, thank God he's there. He's so
Yeah, I love to hear. Love Erie.
Awesome. And this is a question I actually went and followed around the Tampa Bay gate crew for a day. It was like the most fun day of my life. I'm hoping I can do the same thing at Presque Isle when I go there. But a question that I had to ask all of them that I'm going to ask you now is, how many times while doing your job have you almost shit your pants?
A few. Yeah, we'll just put it that way. Over 10 years, a lot more than I'd like to say.
Okay, fair enough. We'll leave it at that. Don't ask, don't tell.
Right.
And we got another comment here from Willie Martinez. Brandon is a remarkable young man, never afraid to get dirty. My man, go in the gate. He comes along and comes from a great horseman family. Very true. I love it. And wow, look at that vocabulary. Remarkable young man. I don't know. Willie's like up in his game here. Yeah.
There we go.
Sean, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. So, Brandon, you mentioned about the times you almost. So, what's the scariest moment you've ever been in the game?
A horse tried to go underneath the bottom of the door, and I was head first, like with him on top of him, feet straight in the air. Luckily for me, the horse, I don't know how it happened. The horse, when it reared back up, it landed me right back on my feet.
Wow.
Divine intervention.
If he moves the wrong way, I go straight head first at his front feet, but I got lucky.
Wow. And then also, and I know we talked a little before the show, and bettors always want to know too, how do you get to pick the horse that you're getting? How does it happen?
No, it is actually the starter that picks. So like before the race comes, when the horses are lining up for the post parade, like heading towards the gate, he'll call out every number, and he'll call a person to it. So like for me, the only time it really affects, like if you work for somebody in the morning, like I work for Kevin, so I usually take Kevin's horses if he has them in there, just so there's no conflict of interest or anything like that. If I have a family member that has a horse in that race, I usually have to take that horse.
Makes sense.
But that's about how it goes.
Then you're not allowed to bet neither, or you are allowed?
No, we're not allowed to bet while we're working. So, while we're not working or before, yes, but not on Presque Isle. You could bet elsewhere, Gulfstream, wherever else you want besides where we're working.
And then something else we heard last week, and I forget, it might have been Larry, I could be wrong. Something about when you see a gate member hold the tail up of a horse, it's not a good thing, and that horse will never win. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
No, that's not necessarily. Usually, like if you hold the horse's tail up, there's two ways. They can hold it up over their back, or you can like wrap the tail around. There's a bar on the back of the door where you could wrap the tail. Usually, if the tail's up, it could be for a bad horse. It could be for a horse that maybe comes out of the gate slow, or some horses like to sit more back on the gate. And usually, you hold the tail up, it keeps their back legs straighter. It ain't where they trying to give them a better start. But usually if you see the horse's tail wrapped, that's where they're the bad ones, the bad actors, the ones that are not very friendly.
That's the other thing is now you said about you can't bet while you're working, but you do like a different kind of handicapping. You're handicapping, like you said, the bad apples or the ones that are. And how do you taking notes from that? Are you told that? How does that come up?
Well, usually here at Presque Isle, it's a lot of the same horses every year that come back. They usually run all summer. They get the winter off. So unfortunately for horses, the ones that are bad actors are usually the ones that are always bad actors. But, you know, just like I said, any horse could have a bad day, but most of the time it's usually the ones that act up frequently. So you take notes, like say the horse reared up that day, or maybe reared up at the start and come out slow. Well, the starter will mark that down in his program, you know, and he can put it into a database. So, like, say the horse is coming from Tampa. We never had it at Prescott, but he can look up on an app and see if maybe the starter at Tampa wrote comments about that horse. So you kind of know what you're getting into. Usually, if there's no comments, it's a good thing. But, you know, they'll usually, just like you said about the tail, maybe they'll have a tail mark. So that way, when we know, he'll say, you know, Brandon, you got the one, and then Jacob, tail the one. So the other guy knows to tail the one. Usually it's just like a precaution thing. The tailing is never, like, some people think it's such a bad thing. It does not hurt the horse at all, you know, when there's nothing like that.
Right. Now, when you said mentioning an app and stuff, is that something like you guys put notes in, or is that something like you tell your boss and he puts it in?
Yep. Just all the starters have access to it.
Nice. Never knew that.
Wow, yep. I know. I feel like I'm learning so much. Those are great questions, Sean. Wow, wonderful. Okay, we've got a lot of comments here I want to catch up on real quickly. Maria Bowersock, that's another one we got to have on the show. I have got to get her scheduled. One of the best. See, everyone's singing your praises here. And from Sean Patrick Nolan, thank you, Brandon, to you and all your gate crew. You are truly the backbone of our sport. Heard fabulous things about you. See, there you go.
Thank you.
I tell ya. And we've got a question here from Grandma Horse Racing. What do you do to calm a horse? Are you a horse whisperer?
I wish it was that easy, but, you know, in the gate, you know, each guy might have a different kind of thing that they do. For me personally, I like to keep the horse's head kind of towards my lap as I'm standing, and I rub the eye. For me, it's something about rubbing the eye, because you only need like 15, 20 seconds if you're lucky. So usually rubbing the eye, a horse is and a lot of things can take the attention away. So usually rubbing like the eyelid, they got to blink their eye or something like that, you know. So it usually just takes their attention for just long enough. And for me, it works. And the horses like it, rub their head, just try to calm them down, talk to them. You know, some people, whatever works.
Wow, this is wonderful. I would have never thought of rubbing their eye, but that's a great point.
Yeah, that brings up. And my questions are triggering here. So that brings up a question. Have you ever been like off guard, like the gates opened and you were not ready at all?
Not necessarily by my fault, or, maybe the horse at the last second, either rams the gate, runs, tries to break before the doors. That happens quite a lot, or a horse rears up. And, if you don't let go of it, unfortunately, when the door opens, it usually is declared a non-starter, which isn't a good thing for our job. So, sometimes you're in a bad spot. The horse is, in the air. You can't really let go, or, the horse might fall on you or something like that. But, yeah, it's definitely happened to me.
Part of the game. We got a comment here from Grandma Horse Racing. I already love this interview. Me too. We're like 10 minutes in and I'm like, wow. So Brandon, tell us about your typical day. I know you work the morning and then you also work the gate crew in the afternoon. What time do you get up? How long are you working?
Well, here, luckily the training is a little later than Tampa is. So we usually get up, because me and my girlfriend both work for Kevin. So we usually get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and we get to the barn by 5:15 here. Training don't start till 6:30. So we all do our own stalls, and then come 6:30, the riders show up and we train. Luckily for us, we usually have 3 or 4 riders now that Kevin is hurt. So we got other people that are filling in right now. And so we get done pretty quick. We train 14, 15 horses a day. We have 19. So we're usually done by 10:30. Luckily for right now, no racing. So the rest of my day is free till feed time.
Awesome. And I have to give a shout out to your beautiful girlfriend, by the way. Willie goes up there and he works all summer. I only get to be there for a little bit of the time. So I keep my eye out and I was like, okay, who is this stunningly beautiful girl who works for Kevin Rice? You probably should stay away from her. He's like, don't worry about her. That's Brandon's girlfriend. She's great. I'm like, okay, cool.
Thank you.
But she is stunning for sure.
Yeah, wonderful person.
Awesome. So, Brandon, I wore this shirt in solidarity with you because you're up there in Pennsylvania where it's freezing. I'm in Florida. I really don't need to wear a turtleneck. But with Presque Isle Downs getting ready to start, what are you excited about for the summer?
For me, I love the racing, so I am ready for it to start. But like you said, the weather does get really nice here during the summertime, so it is a beautiful place. And post time has changed on us this year till 3 o'clock, which I like. It is like the nicest part of the day. Maybe brings a little bit better crowd, and
Sure.
because when I first started, we raced at 5:30. So
Yeah.
we used to get done and it'd be dark out. Last year it was 1:30, so we'd be done at like 4:30. So it's been nice. It's been a little bit of a change each year, so I'm sure it'll be fine. I like it.
Yeah. And kind of changing gears a little bit, I know this winter you came down here to Tampa and you actually were running the barn for Matt Kins. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. This winter, last 2 winters, I've went down there. I've worked the gate, and after Prescott last year, I kind of got a little bit sour with the job, so I wanted to take a little bit of a break for the first time in a long time. So Matt come up to me at the end of the meet here and asked me if I would be interested in running his barn down there at Tampa, and so I figured, yeah, I'd take it. I never worked for Matt, known him. He's been an Ohio guy, so I've known him since I was a little kid. So I just took the job, and it actually worked out good. We had a good meet for two small guys from Ohio.
Yeah, for sure. You guys did wonderful. Love to see it. So
But
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, you have so many options available to you. You could, keep working the gate crew and maybe eventually go for a head start or someplace. You could keep going down the path like you have been with Matt Kintz, maybe be an assistant or even your own trainer one day. What are you thinking long-term you want to do in this industry?
Yeah, that's probably actually the goal for me is to train my own horses.
Sure.
So, I'm kind of working that way. Right now, physically, everything, thank God for me, is good. So I'm gonna continue to do what I'm doing because, but yeah, usually every year I try to get a horse or two, of my own.
Yeah.
So kind of keep me in it a little bit.
Well, with the last name Poole, it's in the blood.
Yeah, part of that too.
And we've got a couple more things here from Willie Martinez. His girlfriend and Brandon are one of the hardest working people around. We are ready for volleyball soon. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Love the volleyball at Presque Isle. And for grandma horse racing, can you predict if a horse is going to act up?
Over the years, for so many years now, yeah, you can usually, because I also like keep my back leg up against their body. So you can, feel if they're trembling or feel if their muscles are tight or if their body's tight or if they start moving their feet a lot. So for me, after, when I first started, no. But now, usually, now there is sometimes that they don't give you a warning, but most do give you a little trigger warning.
Gotcha.
What about, is there any difference between the fillies and the boy horses?
No, not necessarily. I wouldn't say, maybe a colt, a little, more rumbunk, a little wilder, but no, I wouldn't say between geldings and fillies there's much difference. Like I said, most of the time the bad ones are the bad ones.
True in life altogether.
Right. Now,
Amen.
some of the bad ones can get good, but usually they're the ones that are causing the problems.
What about the difference between Tampa and Prescott? You notice anything different?
Sometimes, because it seems like the horses at Tampa run a little bit more all year round than Presque Isle. Because here, like I said, here, if you look at a program at the beginning, you do see a lot of horses that maybe haven't run since last year here. It ain't necessarily an injury thing or, them horses like this surface, so they usually take the winter off.
So they act up a little bit like the first time back?
Sometimes they're a little more happy, body feels a lot, really good. So sometimes.
So what do you think makes a good gate crew member? Like, what kind of person is a good candidate to try this job?
Honestly, somebody that just pays attention, somebody that, listens and, takes notes, because it is rough. You could get hurt really bad if you don't pay attention to what's happening around you, because it might not necessarily be your horse. It could be the horse next to you, right. Or, a lot of the time. So it's a lot of paying attention, keeping your eye on everything. And because for the most part of the job in between races, we don't have to do a whole lot, so everybody's kind of joking around with each other. But for like the 2 or 3 minutes that we have to work, you really have to take it serious.
Gotcha. Okay.
Have you seen any, because jockeys hate the gate too, because they get hurt a lot in the gate. Have you seen any real bad incidents with the jockeys while you're in the gate?
I have seen a couple riders get hurt a couple years ago. Walber broke his leg in the gate. I've seen Eddie Joe Zambrana break his leg in the gate. Luckily for us, nothing, too bad. But yeah, definitely, I've seen a few incidents.
Yeah, we actually saw that incident, the one with Eddie Joe Zambrana, because he came on the show and he brought that video. So we got to see that here as well. And it's scary. It's just amazing how fast it happens,
Yeah,
like you said, you got to be.
It happens super, super quick.
Yeah, crazy. So what would your advice be to someone starting out in this industry who has like no experience?
Honestly, you got to love the horse first. So if you love horses, it's a good job for you, but it's consistency. It is 7 days a week. It is hard. So I think that's the hardest part about the newcomers. It's, that getting up every single day. But, after you do it for so long, you kind of get in a routine and you like it. For me, I fell in love with horses at a young age. So I kind of knew what I was going to do. But usually it's somebody that's, you got to love the horse. So that'd be the first thing. If you love horses, definitely I'd recommend you coming into racing. They do get a bad rap. Everybody only sees the bad things. We see that at Churchill this past weekend, everything that goes on. It's all the bad things, but it ain't the other couple thousand horses that are back there that get taken care of great every day that, they don't talk about none of that.
Sure.
Yeah, the horses that you stare at and go, man, they're getting better treatment than me. What did I do?
Right.
Yeah, literally. So did you bet on any Derby horses?
I took King's Barnes and didn't get too lucky, but Cammie, my girlfriend, she picked 2 fills. So
hey, me too, Cammie. Yeah, there you go. I always go for my heart pick. I don't even care about the odds or what I actually think could happen. I always go for the horses I want to win, and I have to say, I feel like I make the best choice as often as anybody else. So I'm like,
she definitely gets a lot luckier than me because that's what she does. If we ever go to the races or somewhere, she just picks the way they look or their name. And here I am looking at a program, and she beats me every time.
Yeah, Hillary does the same thing. She'll do this horse is rowdy. I'm like, yeah, but that's not a good sign. Yeah, but I'm playing.
Right.
Okay.
And then boom, I know that's like 2 fills. He was all hyped up. I was like, oh, this isn't good. And then boom, ran the race of a lifetime. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Right.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay, we've got a few more comments here from Ashley Phillips. 2 fills and Jareth ran an amazing race. Absolutely. And another comment here, it's sad they only tend to show the bad stuff. There's so much good that people never see. Amen. That is what we do here at Horse Racing Today, is we try to highlight the good.
The problem is, too, nobody's trying to market the sport like every week. I mean, every day we have a Kentucky Derby. Every day we have races.
Right.
Who cares? They're $5,000 claimers. They're all horses. So if people really cared, you'd watch horse racing every day and not 3 times a year.
Yeah.
That's what really bugs me is how we market the big races and not the everyday.
Agreed, 100%. I think that the marketing for the racing industry in the United States is terrible, especially after seeing our guest from Australia. Wow. They do it right over there. If we could invest a little bit in marketing and kind of get the younger people into it with the social media and all of the events and concerts and work it all together, it could be a totally different thing. So hopefully someone will pave the way and do that. We've got another question here from Grandma Horse Racing. Do you feel you have enough safety precautions are taken on your behalf? So do you feel like they do enough to keep you guys safe as much as they can? I mean, it's inherently dangerous, but.
Right. Actually, when I first started my first year, we didn't even have to wear vests or helmets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I would say
it's a Wild West.
Right. Like my first year at Beulah, there was no, you didn't have to wear a vest. There was no helmet. There was, none of that. So yeah, I would say over the years, they definitely done more to, try to take care of us.
Yes. Side note, I started off at Beulah Park as well. And I started off ponying there. And we didn't have to wear vests to do that either. And I loved it because I dressed up really cute every day. When they started making us wear vests, I threw a fit. I was like, this does not go with my outfit. I'm not vibing with this. I was so angry. They were like, we don't care. You got to wear a vest now. So yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I feel weird asking this question because you look like you're in your mid-20s. But over the years, have you noticed a difference between horses as well?
Sort of, kinda, some people, some trainers take more time at the gate with younger horses, so that makes a big difference. It's bad to say, but there is certain trainers' horses that are better than others.
Right.
Not necessarily saying that they're bad, for that or not, but, usually, like, generally the people that, school their horses a lot in the morning, or people that, try to do best what's for their horse, at the gate wise, not, anything else, but usually them are the ones that turn around.
Yeah, why don't you think that is more of a top priority, the gate? Because I mean, it's something they gotta go in.
Yeah, and then at the racetrack, nothing's free, and it is the only thing that is free.
Right.
They don't, you're not charged to go. You can go, as often as you want. Every day the gate's open if you please. I know sometimes, people get busy schedules. They got a lot of horses. Not enough riders anymore. So it's kind of, crunch time. You only got 3 hours to, get all your horses out. So, sometimes it's maybe a time thing. I don't know. I can't speak on them, but for most people here at Prescott, they do the right thing. So that's why our horses here seem to be a lot better for, personally for me than, maybe Tampa.
That's a question. How do you go through your training when you first start becoming a gate member? I'm assuming it's not the first time you're in the gate with horses on your first race.
No. So say when I first started, I had to work in the morning time. So schooling. So every day the gate's open for 2 hours a day. So I'd go there in the morning. So for the first maybe month, I just closed the tailgates, paid attention to what the guys did, maybe climbed up on the off side of the horse while the other guy was in there with the horse and paid attention to what he did. And, so maybe it was about a month before I ever got in, and I got in the mornings, but I never maybe got in the afternoon till maybe 3 or 4 months in.
Wow.
I got lucky. Some people don't, depending on how bad you need the help, some people don't get that lucky. Maybe you have to get in a lot faster. But, for me, that might have been the difference maker for me.
Yeah.
So that eye thing that you said about with touching their eyes and keeping them distracted, is that
Right.
something you learned from somewhere else? Or is that something you kind of picked up on?
Just something I've done on my own, over the years. It's something that's kind of worked for me, and it seems to calm the horses down, So, everybody does a little bit different. You're in there with the horse yourself. So if something really goes wrong, it's you that's got to do it. And like I said, for 30 seconds, it usually, for me, it works. The horses love it. They're nice. They calm down. But yeah, usually if you're new, maybe you wouldn't know to do something like that. New people, I try to teach them what I do. But like I said, other people are trying to tell them what they do too. So, really it's up to you what you're going to do while you're in there.
After the Pablo Morales experience with getting bit, have you ever had a horse try to bite you?
Yeah, I've been bit in the legs a couple of times.
Oh,
wow.
So painful.
Yeah, they are 1,100 pounds, so it's kind of hard. I know it's their head, but they got them long necks. They can reach around pretty quick.
Yeah. Gosh, and they're so strong. Like, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah. Thank God they don't know how strong they really are.
I know, yeah. They think that we're like equally matched, which is hilarious.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah. Somebody said that before. Like, if a horse ever realized, we'd be done. Like,
yeah, they realize how strong they, and some of them do.
Yeah, some of them do figure it out, and they're impossible. Right. They're done.
But luckily,
turn them into studs.
Right.
Okay, this is a good question. What about shin guards? Do you ever wear anything to protect your legs? I know, like pony people have the bite pads.
No, I don't. I mean, I wear cowboy boots all the time, so I got something up my leg a little bit, but no shin guard. No, just a helmet and a vest.
All right, very cool. So what is on your bucket list of things that you want to accomplish in your career? You're so young. You're really just getting started, even though you have all this experience. So you've got your whole career in front of you. What do you really want to achieve in that time?
To be honest, never really thought that far. Like I said, I would love to train my own horses. So, maybe that's the goal. Maybe to, win the biggest race I can win. Who knows? Everybody dreams of the Derby or this and that. But, just coming from a small town from myself. So just being accomplished, in this game would be good enough for me.
Very cool. I mean, you have already earned the respect of everyone around you. So you're on a great path.
Thank you.
we always talk about the younger generation in your job. Have you noticed younger people coming in, or is it one of those older people and they're fading out?
It seems to me it's the older people are fading out. You don't see too many new young faces. I've gone to a lot of different tracks, and it seems like even then you always run into people that you know or people that you've seen. You might go somewhere. I went to Texas, never thought I'd know anybody. Seemed like 10 people that I knew. So it's kind of one of those things. So for that's just telling me it's more or less the older people are fading out. And that might be what's the rough thing for us in racing right now, is trying to get a younger group of people in.
Yeah, and what seems like, and everybody gets asked this question, but what in your world, what's the answer for that?
Like you guys saying, reaching out, like this is a perfect example right here. This podcast, this interview here, just trying to reach out to the younger people to show them that there is actually really good. It ain't just the news that are putting out all the bad things about horse racing or HISA that's going on right now. There is a lot of good regardless of what happens. That's still a thing that don't happen every day. It ain't how good the horses get taken care of every day. The love that the horses give you every day. That's the real thing.
Sure. And we just love having young people on here. I've got a great comment here that kind of ties this in. I'm so fascinated with this guy, learning experience again. But I feel like so many people that aren't horse people, because I work outside in the real world too, they just see like Bob Baffert and Mike Smith. They just see like these older guys who are gazillionaires, who have 100,000 horses. And they're just like, that's so unattainable. That's so like blue blood, old rich money people stuff. And it's like, no, like there are people like Brandon. There are young people in this industry that are really like the lifeblood of the industry. There are great opportunities available if you love horses, like just exposing more people to that, and not just like, no, this isn't just like old rich Kentucky bourbon stuff. Like there's a whole nother side to this game. So
yeah, and there's so many jobs to choose from. It's it's endless where you can move up, depending on what you want to do, or there's not necessarily all the hard jobs or whatever, people might say. There is a lot of jobs back there, and people would love to have them, so I'd love to see younger people coming in.
Yeah, and like you said, work your way up. You can start off with no skills as a hot walker, and who knows, in 10 years you could be running your own barn, So.
Yeah, you never know.
Well, and then the other worry, we hear about this all the time, and I mean, people are saying this in 1980 and we're still here, is 5-10 years of horse racing, it'll be gone. What's your feeling on that?
I mean, I don't believe it. I mean, we just seen the 149th Kentucky Derby, so I don't think horse racing's going anywhere. But maybe some of the smaller tracks might fade out, which is, for me, it hits home because I come from a small track that isn't there no more. I was actually visiting my mom. She still lives in Columbus, close to Grove City, recently on my way here, and I drove past where Beulah was, my home track, and it is houses and a school now. So a lot different from when I grew up. Yeah.
I grew up on that backside, and it taught me everything I know. And those are honestly the best times of my life. And it's sad. It's so sad to see it go. And I mean, we're even seeing like Arlington. We're even seeing like
now you're seeing the bigger track. A couple of the bigger tracks are falling now. So do I think maybe down the road there will be power tracks or power states of racing? Probably.
Right.
But as of right now, or maybe 10 years from now, I don't see it happening, but maybe farther down in my career, maybe it'll be like that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Well, Brandon, I have one more question for you. Who is your pick for the Preakness? But better yet, who's your girlfriend's pick? Because she's the one who's on the...
I'm guessing if Two Phils is in there, I'm sure she's going back.
Solidarity.
I'm jumping on the bandwagon.
Okay, love to hear it. We got the whole Two Phils team here. We're rooting for Two Phils too, because Jareth was on the show right before the Kentucky Derby, and Ravelli as well. So
and I worked with his stepfather for a long time. So
oh my God, I love him so much.
For the home team.
I love Rob.
I didn't get anything back, but I did text Larry today too and said, hey, if you can give us the inside scoop first on if Two Phils is running the Preakness, that would be huge for us.
That was probably his 1,000th text. asking for that same thing. So
I'm sure. Because he did not want to really run in 2 weeks. He said only if he won or if he did really well. Well, he did really well. So
really well. I thought he had it until the last jump. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Turning for home, I thought he was going to win pretty easy.
Yeah.
Honestly, and it isn't Jarrett's fault, but we heard Larry say that he wanted to be covered up, which he was. But since the pace fell apart and he inherited the lead, it was probably the worst thing for him because
I think that if he could have been buried a little bit down the stretch and get through, I think it would have been a different race.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but still incredible either way.
Yes, still great.
John Da Silva's chirping in here. I already wrote Larry pitching PA Derby. John, he is always on the clock. Let me tell you, this guy sends me tweets. He keeps me up to date on everything. I love it. John, we love your energy and we love your passion for the sport. Please keep it up. All right, Sean, you got anything else?
Well, my last question for Brandon, I heard volleyball, but besides horse racing, what else are your hobbies?
Maybe a little bit nerdy, but I'm a video game kid, so grew up on video games as a kid, so do that a little bit, and like to spend time with the dog and Cammy, watch TV shows. When we work so hard, so when we're not working, we don't get to do a whole lot. We try to take vacations, in between each meet, this and that, but more or less just kind of a homebody for me.
What kind of video game?
I play some sports games, but mainly like Call of Duty.
Okay, that's a very popular answer.
I figured that, yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter and I love to game, but we don't play Call of Duty, so oh well. Maybe one day. Wonderful. Well, Brandon, we cannot thank you enough. This has been such an amazing interview. We have to have you back on the show. Wonderful. We really appreciate all of your information. We wish you good luck with Presque Isle right around the corner and hope that you have a safe meet, a fun meet, and a fabulous meet.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. Anytime, I'd love to come back.
Wonderful. Thanks, you take care. Have a good night.
You guys take care.
Bye. Okay, Sean, that was amazing. Am I right?
Yeah, that was... and that's why questions kept popping in my head too, because
you had some great questions.
Well, unfortunately, with jockeys and trainers, there's only so many questions you can ask.
Sure.
Unless they have something personal, then you can kind of probe on that and stuff, and get more. But we, like you said, we've never had a gate crew guy on, so all the questions that anybody ever had, here was our chance, and I'm sure more's not popping into my head now.
You're right.
So when we have him back, or we have another gate crew member back as well, like I'll have more. But they always wonder these questions. So.
Yeah, for sure. I know you were sounding like a gate crew expert over here. I was like, wow, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, I love it. All right. Well, what else have we got going on this week?
So tomorrow we got on Laureano Sosa. He took over Instagram a few weeks ago, and now he will be our Horse Center guest tomorrow. So
did a fabulous job with that. Love it.
Yeah, he's got 25 career wins. He just started riding professionally last year. So
he's really taken off
a lot. Really improved a lot from last year to this year. So you can really see the growth there. Yeah. And then Wednesday we have apprentice rider at Woodbine, Rachel Slovinsky.
I think so.
I think I got it right.
I was like, I got to double check with her, but I think that's how you pronounce it. Yes.
That'll be another person that will, you've already met her, but
the
world will get to meet her.
Yes. We love having on these young people. This is great. This is a week of youngsters. I think everyone on here is in their early 20s. So cool.
Yeah. How old is Brandon? Because literally I thought he was
young,
20.
Yeah. He might be 25. He's young. He's very young.
Okay, because he's saying about Poole and everything else.
I know, he's got all of this experience. Well, he's a Poole, and the Poole's where I grew up, the Poole's they're so entrenched in racing. Every single member of that family does something different in racing. They're all trainers, exercise riders, agents, I think even jockey maybe, I don't know. Yeah, they're everywhere. So he probably has been grooming horses since he was 6. Just my guess, off the clock, off the record. But he's got a lot of experience for a young guy, and his future is very bright. He really could do anything.
Yeah. And then We have Terry and Rich tomorrow, Parks Part 2. It's funny, everybody says they don't play Parks, but our most watched show is Parks when they do it on Monday and Tuesday. So
yeah,
everybody's Parks. Lying. Everybody plays Parks, John. Everybody plays Parks.
Yes, I love Parks racing. Maybe I'm biased because that's where like a lot of my favorite people are, but I love it. I could watch it all day.
And that leads us into Sophia Vives having 3 wins today.
That's right. Yes.
And I got, Rich said how Sophia was on fire today. And I said, look at the horses she's riding. You can't tell me a jockey don't make a difference. Her second win, I believe it was her second win with the number 2. That horse was 0 for 21.
Oh, really?
And won first time Sophia's aboard. I mean, got to make some kind of difference.
Yeah. I can't argue with you there. She's absolutely on fire. She's winning with horses that look like they should win and horses that don't look like they should win. So great for her. We are so happy to see it. Obviously, friend of the show. I don't know when we'll be able to have her on again because she is riding 7 days a week. So it's going to be quite a way from now. But when things settle down, she will come back on.
Most of her horses, if you watch when she's in the back, you'll see all the other horses tired. And I don't know what she's doing different. But she's loaded with her horse every time. I don't know if it's the way she's sitting on the horse or what, but she's saving a lot.
She does have the 7-pound weight allowance, which does help a little bit depending on the size of the horse and the distance and all that. But a little boost. And like John said, how she moved in that narrow space today. She did that last week too, where she got bounced around and then came through. So she's not. The other thing is she's not intimidated at all. Nobody's not intimidated. No, she is like the opposite of intimidated. I mean, we could tell that in her interview when we were like, what's your strength? And she's like, I'm confident. I can do anything. So
that helps when your dad was a jockey too, and you've been around it all your life. I'm sure that helps too. She's not afraid of it.
Sure. Grandma Horse Racing brings up a good point. All 3 wins on fillies. Wow. Who knew that? Okay.
We got to start. I don't know how you have to manually do it. And I know she's had 70 some mounts, and I'd have to download every chart, but I'd almost want to see what her record is on fillies and what her records are on geldings and stuff like that.
That would be an interesting statistic. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't find it anywhere, but you'd have to do it manually to do it.
Yeah.
But now that she's 3 for 3 today, she's only had 70 some mounts. I really wonder how many of her what's her record with fillies? I bet you that percentage is so much higher.
I mean, this is so stereotypical, so take it with a grain of salt. But I do think that fillies and mares appreciate soft hands a lot more. Like geldings, you can be pretty rough with them and kind of order them around, and they're like, okay, whatever. Yeah. And I think that a lot of women jockeys can have softer hands. Now, there are men who have really soft, great hands too. Don't get me wrong. But I think in general, female riders can have that more easier approach, So.
When Paco said last week, I don't know if you saw the interview with Paco, he basically said he doesn't like riding them. And why doesn't he?
He's known for having soft hands. He's known for being very aggressive.
So it's funny. I've been kind of telling people that because now there's been there's at least 3 horses this week that he was low odds on. Yeah. And the first 2, he didn't even hit the board on the fillies. And the third one, I even texted Rich Perloff because he was on FanDuel TV at the moment and said, he doesn't like, and he just got 3rd or 4th with one. The next race, of course, first time starter filly, he wins with her. But but I really think that's a stat to pay attention to now is that Paco does not like riding on the fillies and mares, and he also doesn't like riding shorter distances. So if you get him in both, I would fade him, especially at a low price.
Hey, that is a great angle.
He said it,
Yes, he did. I heard it. I watch the shows when I'm not here, and I did hear it with my own ears. He did say that. But it is true. I think there is something. Some riders just have an aggressive style. Some have a more milking it along style. And then some riders are very versatile. I feel like there are some who can just kind of do it all. So.
Yeah, adjust with the horse. And those are probably the best. If you can adjust with the horse, that's what you need to do. Because some you do need to be a little bit more forceful with.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, my off-track thoroughbred I'm training right now. My goodness. I'm geez, get your stuff together here, buddy. All right, wonderful. Well, that takes us wire to wire tonight on Horse Center. We hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did. I know I had a great time. So hope to see you back here again. Hope to see you on all of our other social media. We are on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on all of it. Horse Race, the number 2 day. Please follow, give us a like, share this video. We would appreciate that. Anything we can do to bring more eyes to us and improve the algorithms. And yeah, I guess that we will see you there, and that we will also hopefully see you in the
Winner's Circle.
Winner's Circle. Good night, everyone.